Here we go.
What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the live stream. My name is Nick. Hope you guys are all doing well. I appreciate everyone stopping by already. I appreciate you guys. Just got out of the shower. The Jets game probably put a lot of you guys to sleep. Some of you guys, that are probably normally viewers of said stream, probably sleeping with the fishes. My fucking plastic straw from McDonald's is in the screen. Let's get that out of there. I appreciate you guys all for watching. I love you guys so much. Let's get on into things. What's up, Spock? What's up, everybody? What's up, Tyron? How you doing, man? I am ready, brother. What's up, Unemployed? What's up, Stokes? How you doing, man? All right. Thank you for the super chat. TTV Phoenix, let me know that you are here. You sent this 10 minutes before the stream. I don't want to answer this and then you not be here. I would rather just push on it and then answer it later when you are here. But if you are here, let me know. What's up, Rachel? How you doing? What is up, Keithan? How you doing? What is up, Joe? How you doing, man? I appreciate that. What's going on, everybody? Let me know if you're here. All right. So we have some news. Bam Knight is starting for Michael Carter. Does that scare me? A little bit. But I still think Michael Carter will be the leader in terms of touches. You're still here? Okay, I'm going to answer your question in half a second. So, am I 100% panicked off of Michael Carter? We're just going to speak in generalities. No, I'm not. Am I more nervous than I was 10 minutes ago? The answer to that would also be yes. So, that's how I'm feeling. That's just how I feel right now about that. And we're going to get on into the question. So I appreciate you, TTV Phoenix, my man. Thank you so much for the super chat. All right. Caitlin, I got your question, by the way, on Patreon. I'm going to answer that after I answer these super chats real quick. Carter or Warren? Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. The fact that Carter, there's the talk about, Bam seeing more touches than Carter, that he's going to be the quote-unquote starter, that would swing the pendulum for me to start Warren ahead of him. Now, I still think a lot of you guys probably are in scenarios where you're just going to play Carter. You're going to hope it worked. I thought he looked good too. And you're just going to hope it works, right? That's what I'm personally doing. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I think he is a must-start option at this point. I think that would be a little bit crazy. But I'm going to move Zonovan Knight, Bam Knight up my rankings. I'm going to update them on Patreon a little bit. And that's just how I feel. So I'm definitely going Warren over Carter at this point, just due to that news. Keenan Allen or Ladd McConkey. I would go Keenan. I think Ladd is going to have a couple of really good games this season. The fact that Quentin Johnston probably isn't going to play is also very positive for Ladd, but I just trust Keenan a lot more. So for that reason, I'm kind of just going to lean with Keenan Allen. I just trust him a little bit more. The Dolphins defense is so bad that both those guys should have decent games. And then Henry or Kamara or bench both and pick up Haskins. That's a tough question. So Warren over Carter, pretty easy. Keenan over Ladd, pretty easy. The running back question is definitely the most tough one. I would lean with Derrick Henry, and you're just kind of hoping he scores a touchdown. The offense is so bad in Baltimore. The Saints offense isn't that good either. You just got to hope Henry scores a touchdown. And plus Kamara's banged up. So that also throws into the equation to where I would lean Henry. So I would go with Jaylen Warren. I would go with Keenan Allen. And I would go with Derrick Henry. Thank you for the super chat, Steven, as well. Oh, and Jeremy sent us a super chat too. So we're going to go to that first. Actually, Jeremy, are you here too? He should be. I think he's here because he sent this at 11. Full PPR. JMO, Haskins, Vidal in the flex. Help me. Came out that Haskins was going to be the starter, which I was pretty onto throughout the week. I said that I thought that Haskins would be the starter. That is the case. If they start losing to the Dolphins, you'll see more Vidal. What's up, Jeremy? So the way I think about this is very simple. Jameson Williams has the highest ceiling. Both of the floors of Haskins and Vidal don't feel very high to me, right? I could see this being a straight up 50-50 split of death, even though that's not the report that came out. If you trust every single thing that a coach says, you are going to be very disappointed. I'm just going to be honest with you. If you trust everything that they say and you take that straight to the core, you're going to feel very bad a lot of the times. So while Haskins is the starter, that doesn't mean Haskins is going to see all the touches, right? Vidal's going to see a decent amount of work. So I would just go with JMO, right? And when you play JMO, you're just acknowledging, hey, I might get 3 points. I might get 25 points up against the Chiefs. Now, if you were thinking, Jeremy, hey, I just need 8 fantasy points, right? I just want to get 8 points and get out of there. I need to get 8 points. I feel like if I get 8 points, I'll win. Then you just play Haskins because he is a lot safer. But I don't really think the floor is that high of Haskins or Vidal. So I would just lean with JMO, who I think could be a top 5 wide receiver up against the Kansas City Chiefs in what might be the highest scoring game of the week. So for my opinion, if it's my team, I'm playing Jameson Williams. Barner, Steven, thank you for the super chat as well. Barner or Kincaid, Darnold or Caleb Williams? Great question. AJ Barner is on fire. He's scoring touchdowns left and right. The question is, do we really think that the game up against the Jaguars will be as high scoring as the game up against the Bucs? If it is, no problem, Jeremy. If it is not as high scoring as it was up against the Bucs, I don't see Barner getting 7 targets again, right? I think Barner ran incredibly good in that game. And I'm not saying that Barner's a bad tight end. I hope you guys didn't take that away when I said, hey, Barner's a sit this week. I hope the takeaway wasn't that Nick thinks Barner's a bad tight end. It's more that I think they use multiple tight ends, and I don't trust Darnold enough at this point to feed Barner more than 3 targets, because if he goes 3 for 3 for 20 yards and he doesn't score a touchdown, you're going to be sitting there feeling like an idiot. So I would go with Kincaid. I just like his upside up against the Falcons, and he is another guy that just keeps scoring, and he has a much more reliable amount of targets weekly. And then Darnold versus Caleb. Darnold looked so good last week. That was the best I've seen Darnold look in Seattle. I need to give Darnold more credit, and I try to give Darnold more credit. And I have been giving him more credit. Still don't 100% trust him, though. Caleb against Washington should be a very potential high-scoring game, back and forth with him and Jaden Daniels. So I would prefer to go with Kincaid, and I would prefer to go with Caleb Williams. I just think Caleb Williams is a little bit more upside. I think if you were going for like the safest bet, you're like, Nick, who's safest? I would say Darnold is a little bit safer than Caleb Williams, but I would lean with Caleb Williams personally. I love that matchup a lot up against the Commanders, and then Kincaid over Barner. Thank you for the super chat, Riaz. I appreciate you, Riaz. I love that picture every single time I see it of, I believe you said that was your son and Joel Embiid. That's such an awesome picture. Need one. Kendrick Bourne, T. Higgins, in non-PPR. Bourne, T. Higgins, Juwan Jennings, Matthew Golden. Would you stay away from the Niners altogether? Love the show. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I appreciate all you guys that are watching today's stream. It means a lot to me. So for me, in non-PPR, what I'm looking for, who's going to score the touchdown and who's getting the most yards. The targets don't really matter. If you thought T. Higgins was getting 30 targets from Flacco, if he turns those 30 yards targets into 10 yards, it doesn't matter if he doesn't score, right? So for me, I think it would be between Juwan Jennings and Kendrick Bourne. I think the 49ers are going to be great with Mac Jones. It seemed very clear that Mac Jones and Kendrick Bourne's connection from back in New England dates to be correct still to this day now in San Francisco. So in a standard league, again, I'm really just looking for who I think is going to score a touchdown. I could see Bourne getting 100 yards and a touchdown. I could see Juwan Jennings doing something similar. I think I would just lean with Kendrick Bourne just because I trust his connection with Mac Jones a little bit more for him to get into the end zone. Again, if this was like full or half PPR, I think I might feel a little bit more confident in a guy like Juwan Jennings. But I think Kendrick Bourne does have that upside to score the touchdown because of how many targets he's going to get. And I also wouldn't even be surprised if Kendrick Bourne out-targeted Juwan Jennings. So while in full or half PPR, I'd lean with Juwan Jennings. Just feel a little bit safer with him. In a standard league, I think Bourne would be more likely to score the touchdown. So I'm going to go with Kendrick Bourne. Thank you so much for the super chat. I love Matthew Golden this week, but I'm going to be honest with you. I think Matthew Golden could just as easily score 3 points as he could like 15 in a standard league. So I would prefer to lean with Bourne. I feel pretty good about Bourne. Fields going to give me a goose egg this week. No, he's not. What's up, Ramsey? How you doing, man? So the thing about the Jets is it's been the same thing over the whole season. If you watch the Jets play, what they do is they look like shit for 2 to 3 quarters offensively. Straight up terrible, trash, diabolical. You're like, Nick, why did you tell me to start this player, right? And then by the end of the game, they just have a million fantasy points. It's just how it goes every single time. Obviously, the Denver defense is a much more tough defense to crack compared to who he's played up against this season. But I think you will see Fields get those garbage time fantasy points. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they scored on this drive just because it's in the second half. It's like Fields goes into the half and something just clicks in his brain like, hey, maybe I should try to get a first down. Maybe we should try to move the ball. Right? Whereas in like the first half, he seems like he's like lackadaisical or something. I don't know what it is about Fields and the Jets. They just never seem prepared in the first half of the game. Ryan, thank you for the super chat. You have Gibbs and Jacobs. I'm torn between Dowdle and JCM. Great question. Now, I love JCM. I think JCM, if you were like Nick, who's more talented, Dowdle or JCM, I would probably say JCM, Bill Nye, the running back guy, is probably more talented, but it's all about situation, right? Can we guarantee that JCM is the clear lead back this week? I don't think we can. And I think if you sit there and you throw all your eggs into the basket of JCM, you're going to be disappointed. Now, I think JCM could be a top 5, top 10 running back this week. So I'm not saying that he can't be, because I think he can be, because I think he's a talented player. But would anyone be surprised if this went back to being more close of a split between at least two of the running backs? Because I wouldn't, right? Whereas Dowdle is the clear lead back going up against a Dallas Cowboys defense in a revenge game, up against a defense that can't stop the run against me or you, right? And just like Force just said in the chat, we did just see we did just see Dowdle run a train on the Dolphins, right? He ran for over 200 yards. The Dolphins couldn't stop him. Now, the Dolphins defense is bad against the run, but so is the Cowboys. So in a revenge game, I think it would be foolish to sit Dowdle. You already have 2 star-studded running backs. I think Dowdle is both safer and has higher upside. I'm going Dowdle. Thank you for the super chat. AJR, my man, I appreciate you. Fins up, baby. Tua versus LAC, Mac versus Tampa Bay, Bryce versus Dallas. Now, Tua has historically played very well up against the LA Chargers. I'm sure AJR knows that. He has been very, very good against them, especially the last 2 times they played. He threw for over 400 yards in one of those games. Looked very good. That one game it was the first game of like the 2023 season. He was straight up surgical, fit the ball into a keyhole for a big touchdown. In that game, he looked very good. I think Tua is fine this week, but I'd prefer to go with Mac Jones. My biggest worry about Mac Jones, and why I don't have Mac Jones ranked as like a top 8 option, though I think he could easily be a top 8 option, is just because of the fact that he's coming into the game banged up. So there's obviously that risk that his leg gets a little bit, thumped into again, and he's on the ground, and, then he's like a little bit hobbled for the rest of the game, or maybe he gets taken out of the game. And while there is risk in that, there's also just risk in blatantly starting Bryce Young, who has been pretty dog shit this season. And same thing with starting Tua without Tyreek. So I would lean with Mac Jones. Mac Jones for me. Next question here. Judd. I love Mac Jones. Judd Diaz. Thanks for the super chat. Trade Kyren and Woody Marks for Nico Collins. Full PPR. Judd, this is a great question. This strictly is about how much do you trust, or how confident are you in your running backs? If you have, for instance, if you're the one getting Nico Collins, if you have Kyren and you have a bunch of other pieces that you really trust, then I'm fine doing this. But just know trading away Kyren and Woody Marks for Nico Collins is you taking up way more risk than what you previously had. I love Nico Collins. I think Nico Collins is one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. I really do. I genuinely do believe that. I think if CJ Stroud played a lot more confidently and played a lot and the offensive line was better, I think Nico Collins could easily be a top 3 wide receiver in fantasy football, maybe even the wide receiver 1. If your running back core is very good, go ahead and do it. Go ahead and get Nico Collins. But if you're kind of scrapping through, trying to find running backs to start weekly, I personally wouldn't do it. So if this was my fantasy team, I think I'd rather have Kyren and Woody Marks, if I'm being honest with you, just because it is significantly safer to have those guys compared to Nico Collins on a weekly basis. And that's not me taking a dump on Nico Collins. I like Nico Collins. I talked him up a lot in the summer, and I may have been wrong just because of how bad the offensive line is, how bad CJ Stroud has been. But if it's my team, I'd rather have Kyron and Woody Marks because I also think brighter days are ahead for Woody Marks. So personally, if it's my team, I'd rather have Kyron and Woody Marks. Ciao. Thank you, my man, for the super chat. I appreciate you. Vidal or Kendre? This is kind of one of those questions where it's basically just, do you want 8 points out of Kendre? Or do you want the potential 3 or 15 out of Vidal? My opinion on the Dolphins versus the Chargers is that the Chargers will be winning, the Chargers will be running, and they will run with Hassan Haskins. If they are down, if they are losing, if the Dolphins get up, which I hope they do, I don't think they will, but if they do get up and they're beaten down on the Chargers, then you're going to see a lot of Vidal. You might be getting a lot of dump offs. You might be getting a lot of value. Kendre Miller, you kind of just know what he is, right? He's going to get his 10 to 11 touches. If it works, he scores 10 points. If it doesn't work, probably gets like 7, 8 points, and it's okay, right? It's okay. So, if you're playing for straight up safety, you play Kendre Miller. Kamara's banged up. Maybe Kendre sees more touches. If you're looking for more upside, you play Vidal, who could be the lead running back on this team for a lot of the game. If it's my team, personally, I'm more of a risk taker. I think I would lean with playing Vidal just because I think the upside is higher. So for me, I'm going Vidal. Zay, thank you for the super chat. Chase Brown, Golden, or Ridley at the flex just had to drop right. Dude, you do not. I should have. I wish I answered this earlier. Do not cut Michael Carter. Do not cut Michael Carter. Just because someone is listed as the starter, the amount of times we've been swindled by this guy is the starter, and then he's the starter because he goes out there and touches the ball first, like has been so many times where it's, oh, this guy's the starter, and Bam Knight touches the ball first, and then it's like, oh, where's Bam Knight? Like, where is he? He's nowhere to be found, and Michael Carter's getting all the touches. So I still have Michael Carter ranked ahead of Bam Knight. If it's my team, I want Michael Carter. But I would like Ridley a lot this week. I think that Ridley's a guy that there's definitely a lot of nervousness inside of me when it comes to Calvin Ridley. I have been someone that was so heavily advocating for Calvin Ridley this summer. I was banging the drum aggressively. I was talking him up, and it didn't really work, right? Early on in the season, it's not working at all. Everything's looking wrong, but now everything is starting to look right. Now everything is starting to connect. He's getting more touches. He looks a little bit more healthy. Can that continue? I don't know. I don't know if that can continue, but I do still think that Ridley is a good play this week. If he can get 10 plus targets again, which I think is plausible with Cam Ward, and especially because the Titans are typically a team that's trailing, I think you're going to be very happy with Ridley this week. And that would be my lean at your flex if you're Ridley. Dan, thank you for the super chat. ETN, QJ, or Lad? Jags or Patriots defense? Great question. Personally, I don't think Quentin Johnston is going to play. We will know with 100% certainty in about 40 minutes, right? In about 40 minutes, we'll know for sure. Is he in or is he out? We will see. We'll know for sure. But as of right now, we do not know for sure. And my expectation, again, would be that he is out. Ladd McConkey had a great last week showing after being invisible all season. That is just kind of a factual statement. Now, I think this could be Ladd's game where he takes over, right? There's more than likely no Quentin Johnston. Should be a big game out of Ladd. But ETN has been so reliable and so trustworthy this season that after one down game, I'm not turning on ETN. So I would go with ETN. And then Jags or Patriots, I'm going to just check my rankings and answer that because the defensive rankings are not as on my head as like who would I play at flex? That's a little bit easier. So I got the Patriots at 9, Jaguars at 10. So that really is a coin flip. I would lean with the Patriots, just a softer matchup up against the Saints. I think the Saints are just a bad offense. So especially with Kamara hampered. So let's go ahead and play Quentin Johnston. Let's go ahead and play ETN. JJ McCarthy still not 100%. Garrett Wilson is on the sideline without his helmet entering the medical tent. So that's just fucking great, right? That's just huge, right? Just the best. Just the best. So Yeah, I'm going Patriots, and I'm going ETN. Wesley, my man, thank you for the super chat. Konnichiwa. What's going on, man? Krakatoa. Konnichiwa. What's going on, man? Need 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, and a flex. I'm just trying to place a bet real quick, but obviously I'll answer your question first. 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, and a flex. So I'm going to type this out. We always type these big-ass questions out so I don't forget, so that I don't speak about something and then, like, speak over myself and say something different. So Genty and Judkins, you're playing them every single week. You're playing them every single week. You don't even think twice about it. I understand. Genty's been all over the place. Judkins has been pretty safe. And you have to play Downell. So those 3 guys have to be in your lineup. They have to be. And if I like too many wide receivers, we're going to have to pivot off that. But as of right now, it's going to be Genty, Judkins, Dowdle. And then you have to play Egbuka. You cannot sit Egbuka. Egbuka has been so good this season. Egbuka, one of my better calls this summer. I feel like I do make some pretty good calls on the rookies, but everyone was on Egbuka, so I'm not going to victory lap like, wow, Nick is such a genius. He bet on a Meke. He thought a Meke Egbuka would be good, right? Because that would just be foolish to say, because everyone thought a Meke Egbuka would be good. Ophelia. All right. I would lean with Egbuka for sure. And then I don't know why I started singing that Taylor Swift song. It's stuck in my head. And then after Egbuka, I think we have to go Adams. It's going to rain in that game. He should score a touchdown, though, you would think. Debo is also kind of banged up going into the game. So I think the smart move is go Egbuka and Adams, and then you go Genty, Judkins, Dowdle. That feels the safest. I mean, Debo and Adams are much more of a toss-up. All those running backs feel great. I'd go Egbuka and Adams. So Genty, Judkins, Dowdle, Egbuka, Adams. That feels very good. Your team is looking real good. With QJ trending out, motherfucker, am I stupid? Daniel, thank you for the super chat. With QJ trending out, you need a flex. Khalil Shakir, Chase Brown, Jalen Warren, or Kenneth Walker. Also, for the other team, Henderson or Shakir. Now, look, I want to come on here and just bang the drum for Henderson. Talk about how, oh, Gibson's out. Henderson's the guy. Henderson's going to do all this. Henderson, because I think Henderson's an incredible player. But the amount of times I've talked Henderson up and the amount of times I've gotten kicked directly in the teeth, the dentist bill is ridiculous at this point. So while I do like Henderson, and I do think Henderson's a very talented player, and I talked about in the summer, he's like Jahmyr Gibbs Jr. You have to play Shakir. He's just way safer. And then with QJ trending out, I think I'm going to go. Oh, man, I like Jalen Warren a lot. It's a rough matchup, but he's just so involved. Might be double Shakir. I think I'd go Jalen. Jalen Warren has been so good. He's seen enough dump offs. I'm going to go Jalen Warren, even though the matchup is rough. If you want to be a little bit safer, go Shakir, and then Shakir over Henderson for sure. That sucks about Henderson. I hope Henderson gets more involved going forward. Keop, thank you for the super chat. Drop Luke McCaffrey for Bourne, Gay, or Dicker. I would be fine dropping McCaffrey. If you have to play someone this week, drop him for Bourne 100%. And then Gay or Dicker. Let's see. Damn, this coffee tastes so good. Chicken parm, why you taste so good? Was that commercial from? Was that State Farm? Gay or Dicker? I got Matt Gay at 7, Dicker the kicker at 4. So I'd go Dicker. And then yeah, definitely if you have to play someone this week, like Bourne to me is not a guy where like you pick him up and you stash him, right? If you're picking up Bourne, he's going into your lineup instantly. You're not just holding on to him because once Ricky Pearsall comes back, he's like irrelevant. But yeah, I definitely drop Luke McCaffrey for Kendrick Bourne, and then I'd lean with Dicker the kicker. Sorry, I was answering a Patreon question. Yeah. Definitely go with Dicker the kicker and go with Kendrick Bourne. Vic, thank you for the super chat, my man. Flournoy / Bourne. First question, and then flex, ETN, Dowdle, or Judkins. That second question is legitimately Very difficult, not because the options are bad. It's very difficult because your options are all very good. And that makes things very tough. When you have that good of options, it makes the guessing game a lot more difficult. In my opinion, though, it's got to be Dowdle, man. The Cowboys defense is so bad against running backs, and Rico Dowdle looks so good against the Dolphins. I would just have to do it. I know ETN's been over-reliable for you. I know Judkins has been over-reliable for you, but I think ETN is just, I think Dowdle is just a little bit more upside. Definitely got to go Dowdle. The matchup is way too good up against Dallas. And then Flournoy or Bourne. Look, I like what I saw to Ryan Flournoy. What's up, Maz? How you doing, man? I like what I saw to Flournoy. Do I really trust it, though? Again, do I really think he's going to lead the team in targets? Do I really think he's going to be able to do all that again? No. So I would just leave him with Bourne. He just feels a lot safer. So Bourne and Rico Dowdle. The recovery, thank you so much. What's up, man? How you doing? Monty or Dobbs? Thank you. Full PPR. Great question. I like that question. And Bourne over Jennings, I think, is fine if you wanted to. I have Jennings ranked one spot ahead of Bourne in full and half PPR. Monty or Dobbs? Man. I see, the problem is this is a rougher matchup for Monty compared to last week. Monty did very good up against Cincinnati. Monty is a good player. Monty is a very, 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 very good player. Dobbs is much more mid, but Dobbs has such a better matchup. The Chiefs defense isn't as good against the run as I thought they would be, but they are also not like a free matchup, right? It's not like a wet dream matchup when you go up against the Chiefs run defense. Should be a higher scoring game. My opinion here is very simple. You want 10 points to 12 points, you play Montgomery. You want 20 points or 3 points, you play Dobbs. On my fantasy team, I like the matchup too much up against the Bengals. I'm playing Dobbs because the upside is so high. There's definitely risk. I lean with Dobbs. But if you want it to be much safer, you play Monty. But my lean, if it's my team, I'm playing Dobbs. Joseph, thank you so much for the super chat. Full PPR pick 3. Monty, Brown, Pollard, or Carter? Great question. So again, my take on Michael Carter this week is very simple. I think Carter will see more touches than Bam Knight. Do I feel the type of way where if I had Carter, I'm telling you to just sit him now? No. But there's a lot more risk now. We've seen this a lot of times where, hey, this guy's the starter. And then they are the starter, technically, because they're the first guy on the field, right? Like, oh, David Montgomery's the starter, but then Gibbs sees more touches, right? We've seen this before, right? This is not that crazy of a thing. Now, obviously, hearing this throws a big wrench into the scenario, right? It makes us go from, hey, Michael Carter feels good as a mid-range, low-end RB2 to, oh no, Michael Carter might now be more of an RB3 compared to an RB2. That's my opinion on things. And then now I'll answer this question. I don't want to touch Chase Brown. Chase Brown saw a ridiculous amount of receptions last week. Do we think Joe Flacco is going to dump the ball off 8+ times? I don't know. I'd rather see it before we believe it. Monty is just a safe bet. I don't love Pollard either, but Pollard's also kind of a safe bet to just get you 10 points and you feel fine about Pollard. You're never jumping for joy. Wow, I have Tony Pollard. No one's doing that, right? I'm not gonna lie to you. No one's thinking that. When I tell you to start him, I'm not thinking, oh my gosh, I'm so happy for you to play Tony Pollard, because I'm not. But the Raiders matchup isn't the worst, and Tony Pollard has been a decent enough running back 17 last week. I go Pollard, and at this point, I'm just going Carter and just praying to the gods that Carter gets more touches. I think he will. I still think Carter gets more touches. So that's how I lean. That is how I lean. Carter, Monty, and Chase Brown. Fantasy football girl, what's going on? If QJ is out, flex Charbonnet or Jamison Williams. This is Zach Charbonnet might be the most boring play in fantasy football. Not because he's going to do bad, but because he'll get like a decent amount of touches, right? And he will look not great. He'll look okay or slightly below okay. And he'll probably score. And what's funny is normally when your running back scores a touchdown, you're thinking, oh, this is going to be a great day. Especially with like, oh, this guy could score 2 touchdowns. It's going to be a great day. But if Walker's getting all the other touches, like how great could the day be? I'm going Jameson Williams. If there ever was a matchup for it to be a big game, it would be up against the Chiefs. If there ever was a game for him to score a lot of fantasy points, it would be up against the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm going Jameson Williams. Christopher, thank you for the super chat. Michael Carter, Chase Brown, Shakir, or Jennings. Now, this is a question where you can pivot away from Michael Carter. This is a question where you can make the conscious effort of, hey, I don't want to play Michael Carter because there are more question marks, right? My fantasy team, I am personally starting Michael Carter over David Montgomery. I am going to go down with the ship. Will it work? Will it not work? Who fucking knows? But I think it will work. So I'm going down with the ship. So in your scenario, though, you have Shakir and you have Jennings. So you don't even have to worry about, potentially getting shafted by Michael Carter. Potentially getting shafted by Chase Brown. You don't have to worry about that. So it's just Shakir versus Jennings. I got Jennings 27, Khalil Shakir 31. They're in the same tier. It's definitely a toss-up. Like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, yeah, Juwan Jennings 100% more confident than Khalil Shakir. He's expected to play. He's dealing with the ankle and the rib injury. That could impact his play, but he's been pretty good this season, even when he's been banged up. So I'm going to go ahead and play. I'm going to go ahead and play Michael Carter. I mean, oh my God, I just said Michael Carter. I'm going to go ahead and play Juwan Jennings. All right. Thank you for the super chat. Ophelia. All right. Thank you for the super chat. What 3 running backs should I start? Jacobs, Judkins, Krosky Merritt, Chase Brown, ETN, Kenneth Walker. Great question. Jacobs, cannot sit him. You are not sitting Josh Jacobs in this kind of a matchup. You cannot sit him. It is impossible. ETN had a down game last week. Do we really think that's going to happen again? He's still the clear lead back on the team. He's going to get the most touches. Tootin can't really hold a candle to him, even though I think Tootin does actually look pretty good. Tootin's just not getting the touches. I'm going to go ETN. You have to play Jacobs. You have to play ETN. And then it's between Judkins and Krosky Merritt. I would just lean with Judkins just because I think he's going to get more touches. And because while I think Krosky Merritt might be, like a very talented running back, which I do genuinely believe. I think that he's a very talented running back. I said this earlier, like, how shocked would anyone be if we get to the end of this game and it's much more of a split share like it's been for a lot of the season, right? Where Bill doesn't get the correct amount of touches that you'd want. So for me, it's got to be Jacobs, it's got to be ETN, and it's got to be Judkins. That's how I'm feeling. I agree with you. Judkins over JCM. I think Judkins is more talented running back too. But if you could promise me JCM's getting a similar split share to what we saw last week, then I think you want to be all over JCM. But I can't guarantee that at this point. Maybe next week I can, but not at this point. So Judkins, Jacobs, and Travis at the end. Thank you for the super chat. Check me out. Xbox NA. Thank you for the super chat. That's a fire gamer tag. Diggs or Allen? Diggs or Allen? Good question. Good question. I got Diggs 14, Allen 18 in full PPR. Now, again, do I think that Diggs is 100% going to outscore Keenan Allen? No, I have them in the same tier. Now, this is just assuming Quentin Johnston is out, right? That would be my assumption. That should be your assumption, is that Quentin Johnston is not going to be playing based on all of the news that we have heard. The Colts have made Anthony Richardson quarterback 3 and is a healthy scratch. Oh my God. That's fucking hilarious, dude. Quentin Johnston is out. He's officially out now. Okay, my bad. I apologize. I have not looked at my phone to see that. If Quentin Johnston is officially out, which I believe you guys. I believe you guys. Yep, he was inactive 6 minutes ago. So my assumption was correct. My intuition was correct. So I got to remove Quentin Johnston from the rankings. We're going to do that right now. I'm going to update the rankings at around 12 once all the news gets out for all the Patreon members. So yeah, now that he's 100% out, it's still pretty much a toss-up. I would lean with Diggs just because I think Diggs is much more likely to see a crazy target share like he did last week and the week prior. The only worry is that this is a blowout by the Patriots and they don't have to throw the ball as much late in the game, right? Last week was very competitive against the Bills and Diggs ate. But then again, when they played up against the Panthers, that game wasn't competitive and Diggs still had over 100 yards, back-to-back games with over 100 yards. I'm as much of a Keenan Allen guy as gets, but I'm leaning with Diggs. I trust Diggs a lot more. Rock out with your cock out. What's going on, my man? 1 wide receiver, 2 flex. Debo, Luke McCaffrey, Jennings, Bourne, Dobbs, Warren. Great questions. Debo has to be started. Let's read about Debo real quick. Debo, Samuel. Let's do some reading, some light reading for everyone. Let's do the light reading here. Injury updates for the Commanders. Terry McLaurin did not suffer any setbacks working through rehab. He does have a chance to return versus the Cowboys. Debo sounds likely that he's good to go, according to Tom Pelissero. So we're going to believe Debo's plan. That's what we're going to believe. We're going to trust Tom Pelissero. We're going to trust him. Debo is in your lineup. You cannot sit Debo. I am not sitting Jennings. And assuming that is Jaylen Warren, not Tyler Warren, I think I'm going to lean. Do I want to play 2 49ers guys, or do I want to go for a running back against a tough matchup? I think we might go with the all 49ers lineup. Debo, Jennings, and Nick, you know Debo doesn't play on the fucking 49ers anymore. Because I know that someone was going to say that, like not understanding that I'm messing around. Yeah, Debo, Jennings, and Bourne for me. That's what I like. That's the way. I like it. Jennings, Bourne, Debo. TTV Phoenix, what's up, my man? I appreciate you super chatting again. Bourne over Jennings. Look, for me, I have Jennings ranked 1 spot ahead of Kendrick Bourne. When you rank guys back to back, look, I will go to bat for my rankings. I will die on the sword of my fantasy rankings and believe they are correct. I make them for a reason because I believe that what I put that people pay for is correct, right? I believe that is correct. So if it's my fantasy team in full or half PPR, I have Jennings in full PPR 26, Bourne 27. They are truly toss-ups. So I would lean with Jennings, but Bourne is more healthy. So if you're like, Nick, who's safer, Bourne or Jennings? I would say Bourne. If you're like, Nick, who has more upside? I would probably say Jennings just because I think Jennings is a little bit more talented. But again, it really is a toss-up. I'm not saying like definitively one guy over the other. But if it's my team, I'm leaning with Juwan Jennings. And sorry for that alert. I forgot to fucking mute my thing. And my Creative Cloud Adobe thing just made the loudest boom ever. I don't know if you guys could hear it because the mic is pointed towards me. The speaker's over here, so hopefully you didn't hear it. But I would lean with Jennings over Bourne. Glock guy, my man, thank you for the super chat. Haskins over Carter then. In my opinion, no. I'm still playing Carter. Now, you are in stranger danger territory with Michael Carter right now. You are in risky territory with Michael Carter right now. I'm going to bump him down my rankings, but again, I still have him in the top 24. I still think he's going to get the most touches. Now, maybe I'm take locking myself. I don't think I am, but maybe I am, right? Maybe I'm just sticking myself in the chamber of me thinking Carter's better than Bam Knight, right? I genuinely do believe that. I think Haskins is the starter, right? Haskins was also named the starter. What's up, Kelly? Does that mean he's going to get way more touches than Vidal, though. No, it doesn't. It's really just all game script dependent, right? I still think Carter's going to see a decent amount of dump offs. I think DeMarcado is as in the doghouse as it gets. Bro is sleeping on the couch, okay? I'm going Carter. I'm playing Carter still. And make sure you guys are in the Discord. Spock linked it. I'm not sure how many members we're up to right now. I don't know exactly how to check. But we're probably knocking on the door of 300. I feel good about saying that. We have close to 300 users in here. So if you guys are in here, or if you're not in here, make sure you are. Hopefully we can hit, by next season, 1,000 people. And there's people always talking. And people answer each other's questions. Spock is in there answering questions. I'm in there answering questions. Even if you're not in the Patreon chat, I still go in there and answer questions all the time. Pollard, ETN, Jalen Warren, Carter, Kendra Miller, Charbonnet. Great question. ETN, you're playing him no matter what. He's like a layup. Now, do I think that ETN 256 in the Discord? Yeah. So I was kind of right, closing up on 300. That's awesome. Pollard, ETN, sure, he shit the bed, but brighter days are ahead. Like, ETN has been so good this season. Are we really going to turn, again, we're not turning our back on a guy that played that good through the start of the season. We're not. I will not allow that. So you got to play ETN. Then, after ETN is where the question really starts to get deep, right? Really starts to get deep. So, in my opinion, it's ETN. It's Carter. I'm still playing Carter, and I'm going Pollard. I know it sounds sad. Oh, no. Because you have Jalen Warren. I'm going to go Jalen Warren. I'm going to go ETN. We're going to go Carter. I'm sorry, I was turning my fan on. If you want to be safer and you don't want to play Michael Carter, which is an acceptable thought to have. I don't want you to be like, I don't want to play Michael Carter. I'm not judging. If you don't want to play Michael Carter, what you're going to do is you're going to play ETN, Jalen Warren, Pollard. If you're fine taking that risk, you're playing ETN, Jalen Warren, Carter. That is my opinion. Ben. What's up, Ben? Hey, Ben, what do you genuinely think about Michael Carter versus Bam Knight? I know they said Bam Knight's the starter. Do you actually think that means he's like the real starter? Or are you more like me thinking he's the starter, but Michael Carter will see more touches? What do you think, Ben? And I think Jacoby Brissett's going to rely on dumping the ball off to him. So for me, if it's my team, I'm going Michael Carter, ETN, Jalen Warren. If you don't want to play Michael Carter, it's Pollard, ETN, Jalen Warren. Yeah, thank you for the super chat. Running back, Vidal, Carter, Brandon Smith, or Spears? Great question. Spears, they're still ramping up. So Spears, they're still ramping him up. I don't trust him. Brandon Smith, still ramping him up. Who knows if he will ever actually get fully ramped up. So it's really just Vidal versus Carter. I believe, again, that Carter will see more touches than Vidal. I think Carter will see more touches than DeMarcado. I think Carter will see more touches than Bam Knight. Am I going to sit here and die on the sword of Michael Carter? No. A lot of you guys are in scenarios where you don't have to play Michael Carter. And I will tell you, don't play Michael Carter, okay? If you're in a scenario where you don't have to play him, then you shouldn't play him. But if you're in a scenario where there's a lot of question marks, like right here with Kiop, I want to play Michael Carter because I trust him the most, and I think he has the most upside. Rock out. Thank you for the super chat again. Juwan, Flournoy, or Shepard? Great question. I would go with Sterling Shepard. I like Juwan Johnson. But I worry, is Taysom Hill back going to really screw the pooch? Or are these back-to-back games just flops, and then he comes back out and looks like the first 3 weeks? Flournoy, I worry heavily that was fugazi. I worry very heavily that he's not the number 2 target on the receivers, right? Behind George Pickens, even though he out-targeted George Pickens. I know. And he's more like wide receiver 3, the wide receiver 4. I would go with Shepard. I just think with no Godwin, no Evans, you're going to get a decent amount of Sterling Shepard, and he could potentially score with how good Baker has looked. So I would lean with Shepard over those guys. Well, since Drew Petzing is our offensive coordinator, he's much dumber than AB. I would assume that neither will do anything today. I would go Carter 110%. He knows the system more. Bam is a dog, but I don't know how much time he'll get. Look at that. See, Ben is our Arizona Cardinals coordinator. Ben knows the Cardinals better than anyone. So I'm believing with Ben. Ben also believes what I think. So that goes to show. And Ben, I don't know if you were in the stream the other day, but the guy that did the Suns and 4 meme was in here. Pretty fucking funny. Spock, you've never let me down. What's your guess? Yeah, Spock will never let you down, bro. I may let you down. Spock will never let you down. Hooked on this bye week. It's okay. It's okay. Yeah, you are cooked, bro. Just go Kendra Miller. And Gainwell's in too tough a matchup. Go Bond. Isaiah Bond. Stokes, Taylor. Full PPR. BTJ or Devontae Adams for the floor. Go Adams. Trust Adams way more. Go Adams. Go Adams. And just so you know, I know all of you guys that have Jets players right now are probably shitting themselves. Like, this is the first time I've ever played Fields. First time I ever played Mason Taylor. Just wait and see what this fourth quarter is going to be. Now, the problem is, my biggest worry here is normally in the fourth quarter, they are getting their backs blown out. I mean, they are scoring nothing. Like, they have gotten fisted. Right now, they're winning. So that might be the biggest worry right now. Bourne or Dobbs, I would lean Bourne personally. I would personally lean Bourne. I like Dobbs. I would lean Bourne. Yeah, there's going to be no garbage time today. That is true. That is very true. But again, like I said, maybe it's just Fields just only knows how to play in the fourth quarter as a Jet. Maybe that's the thing. So we'll see. But yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm way more scared right now than I would be in most other games. Was that a pick, by the way? As I'm speaking about this shit, did Justin Fields just throw a pick? Bro turned into Tua. He turning the ball over. No garbage time. Yeah, I agree. Baker or Herbert? I'm not saying Baker. Which three? I'm going Tet, Shakir, and Kendrick Bourne, Mr. Yoda. Wilson fumbled. God damn it. Is that what happened? See, the problem with streaming is I can't 100% pay attention to the game. But I do appreciate helping you guys out, so that's better. Trey Tucker or General Shepard. We're going Trey Tucker. I think Shepard's a little safer, though. Yeah, make sure you guys are in the Discord. Make sure you are in the Discord. Henry or Carter? Henry. Ridley or Higgins? Ridley. Sit one. I'm sitting Olave. Yeah, the super chat questions are always going to be the priority. There has not been a super chat question in the last 5 minutes, so I'm just answering all the regular questions. Jags or Pats? Jags or Pats? I'd go. Let me pull up the rankings. I got Jags 10, Pats 9, so Pats. Stevenson or Vidal? Stevenson. Seems incomplete to you. Did they call it incomplete? Pats defense. Walker or Swift? I'm going Swift. Carter or Kamara? I mean, I'm still playing Carter over Kamara, I think. Yeah, I got Carter over Kamara. Juwan Jennings or Jacoby Myers? 12-team, half PPR. All right. I would go Juwan Jennings. Yeah, Juwan Jennings for me. Vidal or Golden? If you already have Haskins in, you got to go Golden. Haskins or Chase Brown? I mean, that's tough. probably go Hashkins. Michael Pittman, a good start, or DK? Definitely Pittman. They called it incomplete. Okay. Would you drop Gainwell for Ramondre or Bam? I'd be fine dropping Gainwell for Ramondre. Gino or Brissett? Gino. So bad, though. Should I gamble and hold to see if Debo plays? I think Debo's going to play based on what I read, so I would say play Debo. What's up, everyone? What's up, Big Al? Thank you, no problem. Defense, Washington, Tennessee, or Detroit? Washington, Tennessee, or Detroit? Tennessee. Are you from Tennessee? Because you're the only Tennessee. Ridley or Stevenson? Ridley. Jennings or Bourne? I have them ranked back to back. I lean with Jennings by a very small margin, like half an inch. Thanks, man. No problem. Darnold or Mac Jones? I would go Mac Jones. Darnold's a little bit safer because Darnold's not hurt, right? And Mac Jones could go down with an injury. So that's how I feel. That's just how I feel. All right. Hey, Nick. J-Mo, Ladd, Shaheed, or Michael Carter? Standard, pick 2. I'm going J-Mo and Ladd. Seahawks or the Raiders? And then the super chat. Seahawks, I have 7. Raiders, I have 11. I'd go Seattle. Raiders, a little safer, though. Tough decision. Ridley, Jennings, or Bourne? Great question. So, as I've kind of spoken about in the stream, Jennings and Bourne are back to back for me. If you felt super confident about one guy over the other, I would almost think you're kind of lying. If you said like you felt way better about one over the other, if you said you felt better about one over the other, that's fine. But if you were like, wow, I feel so much better about Bourne over Jennings, I almost kind of think you're kind of like just lying to yourself if you think that. For me, I think I would just go Ridley. Ridley's been pretty unreliable this season. I understand he's been just outright bad every single week outside of last week. Last week was really the only game where he even showed an ounce of life. But the fact that he showed that ounce of life kind of tells me that they're going to get to targeting him more. Maybe him and Cam Ward have a better connection. If you wanted to be like, Nick, who is safer? I mean, like, if you want to be as safe as possible, I would just play Jennings. Like, you just know what Jennings is going to do. He's going to be pretty involved in the offense. The Mac Jones-led 49ers have been good when he's been under center. So, like, yeah, I think Jennings is or Bourne are like way safer than Ridley. But I know it's only been one game, but I was a Ridley believer all summer. And the matchup against the Raiders is good. Like, Cam Ward should be able to figure it out. I'm going Ridley. I'd go Ridley. If you want to be safe, you just play Jennings. If you want to be safe, but I'm going Ridley. Kamara got activated to full participation. Should I play him over Judkins, Jalen Warren, or I hate to say it, a questionable Jamar? Road to 50K. Let's fucking go. Thank you. I appreciate that, Punisher. That's a good question. Dude, the problem with Kamara is even if he's all the way healthy, can we really guarantee that him being all the way healthy actually means that he's going to be the clear lead back? Because they've been really giving a lot more touches to Kendre Miller. And it's like getting to the point where it's very, very frustrating. And like Kamara doesn't look like the same guy. The offense doesn't look the same. Just like a bad offense. I don't know, man. Like I don't think you could play him over Judkins at all. Like I don't even think that's in the realm of possibilities. Over Jalen Warren, I would get it because Jalen Warren has such a tough matchup, but I would just play Jalen Warren because I just trust him way more. And Jamar, dude, you just can't sit Jamar. Like, you know how fucking stupid you are going to feel? And I'm not saying that you are stupid. I'm saying you will feel stupid if you sit Jamar Chase down and he goes out there and drops his nutsack in the mouth of the defense and scores like 30 fantasy points. Would anyone be surprised if that happened? Because they shouldn't be. Right? I understand Joe Flacco stinks. I understand the offensive line stinks. I understand that Joe Flacco basically signed a deal to get destroyed. Okay, that offensive line is going to crumble like the Ottoman Empire, and he is going to get folded. He is going to get folded many, 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 many times. But you're not sitting Jamar Chase, right? If you imagine how you would have felt if you sat Jamar Chase last week, you would have been like, "Oh no, I sat the guy that scored 30 fantasy points." You can't sit him. So. I'm not sitting Jamar. I'm sitting Kamara. Get Kamara the hell out of here. I don't want anything to do with Kamara. If you could, I don't want anything to do with him. And in your scenario, you can not play him. So I'm avoiding Kamara. I'm playing Judkins, Warren, and Jamar. And I appreciate you. Dansky. You're hitting this emoji. I thought you were hitting the thumbs up. This emoji, as if this isn't like something people have been doing for years. Totally tubular, brother. Mac Jones or Bryce Young? Thank you for the super chat. And I'm not making fun of you, by the way. I'm just messing around. Because if we just talked about football the whole time, my brain would go numb after about the 2-hour mark, which is what we'll hit by the end of this stream. Mac Jones or Bryce Young? Now, on paper, this should be the game where Bryce Young turns back the clock and looks like the version of himself from last year towards the end of the season. This is the matchup for it to happen. But I also said that last week. I also said, hey, the Dolphins are very bad defensively, and they are, right? We saw what happened. Rico Dowdle bent us over a table. Rico Dowdle did us dirty. It was hard to watch. But I think Mac Jones is gonna be cooking. Mac Jones has looked very good when Bryce Young has been out. It's almost like maybe this Kyle Shanahan system is just really that good, and maybe Purdy's not that good. I digress, though. I'm a Purdy stan, so I won't take a dump on Purdy. I'm going Mac Jones. He is hurt, and obviously that increases his chance of re-injury. I'm not a doctor, but I just know that from playing fantasy football for a long time. That we also saw it on Thursday night, but he last played on Thursday, so extra couple days of rest. I'm going Mac Jones. I just trust him. And Detroit, Cleveland, Tennessee, Las Vegas. Great question. Very good question. Detroit, Cleveland, Tennessee. Okay. I know for sure it's not Detroit. I just know for sure. I'm not playing a defense against Patrick Mahomes. I think that would be crazy. Cleveland, I have at 8. All right, Cleveland at 8. I got, are you from Tennessee? Because you're the only 10 I see at 13. I got the Raiders at 11. So it's Cleveland against Pittsburgh. You're just going to hope they sack old man Aaron Rodgers a million times. So we're going to go Cleveland, and we're going to go Mystic Mac. C-Mac. CMC. Thank you for the super chat. Cute picture of your dog. Jennings or Flowers. Thanks, brother. Love the Q&A. I love you too. Thank you so much. It means a lot to me. I appreciate all you guys. Thank you so much for watching the stream. By the way, please make sure you leave a like on the stream if you have enjoyed. That is the most helpful thing. I would lean with Jennings. Now, if we didn't know that the report last night came out that Flowers is going to be more limited in snaps. Now, what does more limited in snaps mean? That means many different things. That might mean, hey, instead of playing, all right, let's just pull up his snap counts. Snap counts, football guys, Baltimore Ravens. Okay. So this could mean, so last week, Zay Flowers plays 36 snaps. Normally he plays around 45. We'll say 45, okay? Normally plays 45 snaps. He's going to play less snaps, could mean he plays now 40 snaps instead of 45. Could also mean he plays 30 snaps instead of 45, right? Or it could just be a bunch of bullshit and he plays 44 snaps, right? So it's a very tough question to kind of decipher. Now, you already have the question marks with how many snaps he's going to play. So that sucks, right? And you also have, hey, that's not Lamar Jackson. That's Cooper Rush. So for that reason, I would lean with Jennings. So I'm going to go with Jennings over Flowers. Just a lot more question marks with Flowers than there is with Jennings. So I'm going to go Jennings. Am I worried at all about the weather in the Ravens game? No. We have done this exercise so many times of, should I sit this guy because of the weather? The only thing that really affects, and I'm going to go look at the weather right now, NFL weather. If it's just rain, you really don't have to worry at all. Things that start to affect the game are crazy snow, where the vision is limited, or crazy wind. Rain doesn't really do much to the game. Sure, it might cause some drops, but normally, rain is something people panic about. We've been talking about this for years, but a lot of people heavily worry about the weather, and that doesn't really matter. Now, the fact that there's going to be 25-mile-an-hour winds, gusts, is a little bit worrisome. But I don't think that is crazy enough to really panic, right? I don't think that's that crazy. What's the wind like in some other of these games? Like 16-mile-an-hour winds is what it says. Let's go to like Brown Steelers. They got 14-mile-an-hour gusts. Bengals Packers 19-mile-an-hour gusts. So yeah, like it literally doesn't matter. So yeah, don't worry about the rain too much. Sutton is bending you over table. I'm sorry, Braden. Honestly, I try to predict every single game, right? I'm gonna be wrong about things all the time. Did realistically put your hand up? Class, show your hand. How many of you guys thought that in the fourth quarter the Jets would be winning the game 11-10? How many of you guys thought that? I don't think anyone thought that. I don't even think Jets fans would have thought this would be the outcome in the fourth quarter, as we sit right now. I don't think anyone thought that. So I do apologize, but who the hell would have thought that? Okay, like that's just me being honest. I would never have thought this was going to be the thing. That was a card right now at this point. I would have said more than likely it is 24-7 would be Broncos would be the most likely outcome, right? So, sure, if Sutton screws you this week, I am genuinely sorry. My fantasy team is cooked if Sutton is doing terrible. I'm gonna answer this question by the way, so I do apologize for just rambling on about fucking nonsense. Is what we always do. Yeah, I got Bo Nix with 11. Dobbins has 2. Cortland Sutton has 2. Mason Taylor has 1. I mean, I'm just fucked. I'm just as fucked as it gets. My buddy Joe, who did my he was the officiant at my wedding. This guy is just gonna fuck me. No diddy. He is just doing me dirty right now. My team fucking is just reeking right now. Reeking how I have him. You hate to see it. Okay, I'm gonna answer your guys' questions though. On the Relio, we can't just sit here and all right, see you, Spock. Can't just sit here and just talk about nothing for a while. So otherwise, we won't be able to answer all the questions. Henry, thank you for the super chat. Judkins, Pollard, Henderson, Kamara, great question. Judkins, for me, definitely. You got to go Judkins. I mean, Judkins has looked good when the Browns have looked bad. Judkins has looked good when the Browns have looked okay. So I think they'll look more okay this week. And it seems like the offense is on the up and up now with Gabriel under center. I don't think that necessarily means that they're going to be a great offense, but I do think things are more positive with Gabriel now. So I'm going Judkins. And then it's tough, right? I don't want to play Henderson, so Henderson's kind of just out of the equation, even though I do think Henderson is like a good running back. He's just not a part of the equation. It's between Pollard and it's between Kamara. I think I would just lean with Kamara and hope he scores. So I'm going to go Kamara, and I'm going to go Judkins in full PPR. Ramondre or Kamara? Great question. I would go with Kamara. Again, look, I don't want to come on here and sound like a Ramondre Stevenson hater that like can't overcome my hatred for Ramondre Stevenson because that's just not true, right? I'm not like a straight up hater to the point where I don't think he's going to do anything. But let's just be real for a second. Like Ramondre Stevenson has been outright bad for most of the season. He has looked bad and he has fumbling issues out the wazoo. He fumbles so heavily. Like someone touches the ball, they tap the ball with their pinky toe, and the ball's coming out, right? And with no Gibson insurance, like that's a legitimate worry that, like, hey, like, could Ramondre get like outright benched? I think at some point it's going to happen. Now, maybe he just has like some blackmail on the coaching staff. Like that just has to be it because there's no other reason why the fuck he would even still be on the field with how he's played. But and like I think Ramondre could have a good game. So I'm not saying it's impossible for Ramondre to have a good game. I just trust Kamara so much more that like he was a full participant in practice. Like he's gonna get the ball a ton. Like you trust him, right? I trust him to get me 10 points. I think Ramondre's live to score 3 fantasy points. Okay. So when I feel that way, I don't feel good enough to play him. I'm going Kamara. Ippo, thank you for the super chat. IPPO. Kenneth Walker, ETN or Jennings in the flex, full PPR. Great question. I so badly want to tell you guys to play Kenneth Walker. I think Kenneth Walker is very talented, and I'm kind of glad that I was much more pessimistic on Walker than a lot of people this summer, just because it makes me look more right. Even though realistically, Kenneth Walker looks incredible, he's just not getting the goal line touches, and that just makes him close to unstartable, in my opinion. if you can't trust the guy to get to score a touchdown, how can you have that big game? Sure, he could rush for 130 yards, right? And realistically, if you rush for 130 yards, you probably score a touchdown for most guys. You are so happy. Holy shit, my running back ran for 130 yards. I'm going to win my week because of that. But with Kenneth Walker, you're not even guaranteed to win your week with him running for 130 yards because of the fact that he's not going to score a touchdown because the team just is fondling with the guy. They're playing with the guy when instead they should be going all in with him instead of fucking going halfsy with Charbonnet, who looks terrible. So while I think Kenneth Walker is one of the more talented running backs in the NFL, and I will continue to echo that standpoint, how could you possibly play him over Etienne? You can't. Or even over Juwan Jennings. Juwan Jennings. So, in my opinion, I'm playing Etienne. I trust Etienne the most. Etienne has been very reliable this season. I was not an Etienne guy. I'm not going to lie to you. I was actually an anti-Etienne guy. I thought it was Tank Bigsby season. Tank Bigsby can't even grace the field in Philadelphia. So that was just wrong. So I'm going Etienne. I trust Etienne the most after one down game. We ain't panicking, baby. What's up, cutie? What's going on? Hodag Dungeon. How you doing? I appreciate you. For the flex, Ridley, Henderson, or Carter? Now, you asked me this question yesterday or on Thursday. If you asked it to me, I would have said Michael Carter. I would have said, why would you sit Michael Carter? How can you sit Michael Carter is what I would have said. I would have said, hey, how can you sit Michael Carter after what we saw last week? How can you sit Michael Carter? Now, fast forward to today, where Michael Carter is not starting. So why? Why are they doing that to us? I have no idea. They're tossing us around like we're some buffoons. I'm going to go ahead and lean with Ridley because the fact that we saw Ridley play very, very well last time out. Is that the most repeatable thing ever? No. Do I expect him to repeat that? Also, no. But is it possible? Yes. And I trust his touches the most, so I'm going Ridley. Grindbird, thank you so much for the super chat. Bam Knight, new RB1 over Jameson Williams. See, look. Bam Knight starting to me feels like one of those where, oh, this guy's the starter. And then you watch the game, and sure, he touched the field first, but is he really the starter? It's kind of like, David Montgomery in the past, right? Where, David Montgomery's the starter, but is he the starter? Right? Is he really the starter is what I mean by it, right? Where Gibbs is getting a lot of touches. Could be the scenario. Now, Bam Knight could be very good today. And, I don't think Bam Knight is, a bad running back. But, Carter's been in this offense for years. I don't see why why it would possibly be Bam Knight over Carter. I just don't get it. Maybe they want to come out with aggression early, and they're looking to run a motherfucker over, right? Run you over. So they're going to go with Bam Knight early in the game. But once you get down, and once Jacoby Brissett looks just limp dick like he always does, you're going to have to dump the ball off. You're going to have to dump the ball off. And who's getting the dump offs? It's not Bam Knight. It's Michael Carter. And I'm going Jameson Williams. You can't sit Jameson Williams. You can't sit him. I get he's been bad. But when you have the kind of matchup up against the Chiefs where he could score so many fantasy points, right? Where he could score a ridiculous amount of fantasy points. You have to play him. You just have to play him. So I'm not sitting him. I'm not sitting Jameson Williams. Just not doing it. Could I be wrong 100%? I've been wrong before, right? I don't come on here and say I'm the 100% accurate analyst. I should, because that'd be funny, because no one is 100% accurate. But I'm going JMO. I don't think you can sit Jameson Williams. I really do not. And I hate that I can't make this fucking game full screen unless because the game is I have my computer on silent. So I'm going JMO. Bluetooth. Your Bluetooth device has been connected. Do I start Baker or Stafford? Good question. Good question. All right. Where's the Discord link located? I got you, fam. I'm going to invite you right now. If I invite you, I'm just putting in the chat. Oh, fuck. I think I put something at the end. Don't click on that one. It's this one. Spock said, "Fuck Bam Knight." Basically, I don't trust Bam Knight at all. It's a big question. What's up, Dave? How you doing, man? Do I start Baker or Stafford? I'm going Baker, dude. Baker has just looked so good this season. 3 straight top 12 games, I believe. Stafford's on fire, 2 straight top 12 games. But, we did just see CJ Stroud torch them, but that could be a game where they let off the gas a little bit. What I mean by that is, like, if Cooper Rush looks how Cooper Rush has looked this season, they're going to be able to step off the gas. They're not going to have to go pedal to the metal. And maybe Stafford will probably still end up top 12, but I would just trust Baker more. I mean, Baker has just looked so good this season. Doesn't matter who's out there at receiver. It really does not matter. They ball. So I trust Baker a lot. Like, a lot of people this summer are talking about, regression this, regression that. He can't possibly put up these numbers again, and he just does it, right? He doesn't care. He's running through people. I wish Baker was the quarterback of the Dolphins instead of this Tua Tagovailoa guy who makes me just want to die every single Sunday. So, yeah, I'm going Baker touchdown maker for sure. I appreciate that, Rachel. I hope you guys are all enjoying the Discord. We're gonna get to 300 people in here in this Discord by the end of the season. We're getting it. Laporta or Ferguson? I would go Ferguson. Traded Chase Brown and Kraft for Travion and Bowers. Thoughts? If Bowers comes back, that's a good trade, and I think Travion Henderson will get more use, so I'm fine doing that. I think that's fine. I don't think that's like a clear win or a clear L. That's kind of one of those trades where I just feel like, it's a fair swap, right? There's some trades where you guys ask me where it's like, wow, either you fleeced the fuck out of someone or someone fleeced you. That's one of those where it's like no one truly fleeced each other. Lad over BTJ, I agree with that. It is close, though. All right, wait, I want to watch the game. Where did the game go? Where did I put the game? I had the game up, and I think I closed it. My DFS lineups are doing terrible today so far, so that's fun. Ain't it fun? All right. Let's rock. Next, Spock. BTJ Lad's a close call. I agree with that. May or Stafford? I'm going May. Keenan or T-Mac? I'm going T-Mac, but Keenan's a little safer. Marv or Myers? I'd go Marv. I'm going to be honest with you. I really like Jacoby Myers, and I still think he's a very good player, but Geno Smith has been so downright diabolically bad. I understand that Jacoby Brissett isn't good either, but you would just think that Marv would get enough targets to be fine. It's a big toss-up because you're dealing with 2 quarterbacks that I don't really trust, but I go Marv. London or Diggs? That's a really good question. I cannot personally sit Diggs. I mean, sit London. Sorry. I mean, you want realistically, most questions that involve Diggs is you start him. Basically, every question that involves Diggs, besides this one, is you start him. I'm not sitting London. I think London is in for a pretty big game up against the Bills. I think they're going to be playing from down in that game, meaning they're going to have to throw the ball a ton. And when you throw the ball a ton, who are you throwing it to? No Darnell Mooney. You're throwing the ball to London and Kyle Pitts. Again, there are question marks with London. There are question marks with Diggs as well, because do they really need to go all out in this game? They could just pump the brakes up against the Saints and not do much in the second half and just cruise to victory. But I would go with London just because, again, the team's going to be playing from behind. They're going to need to throw the ball a ton. And he seems like the kind of guy that can score a lot of fantasy points late. So if it's my fantasy team, I am going to go ahead. I mean, they're going to kick a field goal here. So weak, man. How the hell can you not score against the Jets, dude? The Jets defense has been so bad this season, and they're playing like they just have no idea what's going on. That's truly how they're playing. This is fucking embarrassing. But yeah, I'm going London. I can't sit London. I am a London pilled, as they say. I have been such a Drake London truther for years. I've been banging the drum for him. He showed up towards the end of last season. He's been showing up this year. So I can't sit him. Realistically, you want both of these guys in your lineup, so that's what sucks about it, right? Because realistically, you want both these guys, but since we can't be realistic here, it's one or the other. It's London. I'm not sitting London. I am not sitting London. Shepard or Coleman? I would lean with Coleman. Keenan or Bill, I'd go Keenan. Marv, Pollard, or Jennings, I would go Marv and Jennings. You know who I am. I'm Silky. I make my bones when you were just a bunch of fantasy football cheerleaders. That's true, Silky. Oh, Skilly. That's your name. I apologize. I do know who you are, obviously. Rico or Judkins? Rico. Shaheed, Hashkins, Henderson, Shaheed, and Hashkins. Let's build my lineup. I got you. 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers. And I assume you need a flex too. JSN, T-Mac, BTJ, Genty, Judkins. Judkins or Krosky Merritt? Look. I want to be the Krosky Merritt guy that just says, oh, man, you got to play Krosky Merritt, must start top 5 running back after what he did last week. And, dude, I want to say that so badly. But I don't believe it. I don't believe that because I think we might just go back to the same situation that we've been in all season where we're just sitting there and every single week you're just thinking the same thing. What did I sign up for? Why am I watching this? How is this still happening? How is he still not getting the correct amount of workload? And for that reason alone, it's got to be Judkins. Just too many question marks. Full PPR, Keenan, Olave, or Shaheed? I'm going Keenan for show. People who are playing Sutton got to be bummed right now. I'm bummed too. My whole team is here. That team that I made the video on, where it was like the draft vlog, that team is down fucking terrible right now. I'm going to share my screen just so you guys can see it, and then I'll take it off the screen. This is the game right now. I got Bo Nix, Dobbins, Sutton, and Mason Taylor. I mean, my team is just getting belt to ass right now. My buddy Joe is reaming me right now. This is just as tough as it gets. This is just sad. This is just sad because I finally got Drake London and Bijan back. I'm thinking, all right, I'm playing against Joe. I can get that easy W against Joe. But no, it's not looking easy. It's looking a little difficult here. So hopefully the Jets can score and then the Broncos try to score a touchdown. Oh, I took my fucking self off the screen. I meant to take that off the screen. Very tough. Very, very, very tough right now. Very, very tough. All right. Help, please. Spears, Kamara, Tongs. I'm playing Kamara. Drop Tootin for Bam. That's fine. Hashkins or Carter. I still lean with Carter. It's tough. I still lean with Carter, though. Dowdle, Etienne, Dowdle, Shakir, or Bourne. Bourne. Started Sutton over Diggs, and I'm sad. Yeah, I mean, yes, I would have too. Okay, so if that makes you feel any better, I also would have done that. This is not at all the game I expected. Now, we have talked about this a lot, that these London games are fucking stupid. So they end up being, grudge matches like this where it's super low scoring instead of being like if this game was in the United States, this game's in, who's the home team? I don't even know. Oh, the Jets. I mean, they're wearing green. This is in MetLife. The Jets are getting their back blown out. But because this game is in London, it's just more low scoring. Very weird game. And I do apologize, right? But were you really going to sit? Was anyone really going to sit Cortland Sutton this week after how good he's done? Like, no one would have done that. So don't feel too bad about yourself. Don't beat yourself up about that. Sucks, obviously, but you can't let that something like that ruin you, in my opinion. You can't let that ruin your week. Yep, make sure you guys are in the Discord. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Keenan, Olave, or Shaheed. Keenan for me. Baker or Herbert. Baker. Morning, brother. Good morning, man. We buy homes near you. Start 1. Ridley, Bourne. I know this is non-PPR. You are one of, I would say, 2-3 people that come in here asking standard questions. So I remember you guys. If you are a standard person, I'll always remember you. Basically, every other question is full PPR or half PPR. And what I will tell you guys is genuinely, if you are in a standard league, please beg, unless you really like standard, which is possible, try to beg your commissioner to get that shit to be half or full PPR. In my opinion, standard is kind of just a drag. Ridley, Bourne, Hassan Hashkins, News will be the lead back, Jennings or T. Higgins. You're just looking for a touchdown. Who's most likely to score? I'm going Bourne. Tet or Judkins? Judkins for me, Shane. Flex. Hashkins, Dobbs, or Jennings? Jennings. Half PPR, Ridley or Charbonnet? Ridley. Kyron Gibbs, Javonte Taylor. I mean, it's like that's a crazy question because everyone you have there is so good. Kyron Gibbs, Javonte Taylor. Going Kyron, going Gibbs, going Taylor. And sadly, oh, never mind. We're going Javonte, Gibbs, Taylor. That's crazy. No problem, Tyron. Keenan Olave, Shaheed Olave. Godfathered. Thank you. No problem. Tedder Judkins. Would dropping Tootin for Bam be a good idea? That's fine. I have Sutton in 2 leagues. I have Sutton in a bunch of leagues too. Sutton was probably my highest drafted player on Underdog. My Underdog teams are just straight up trash because I jammed every draft. I was like, dude, it's free. Pacheco in like the 5th round. Free! How can you not draft Pacheco? How can you not draft Pacheco, man? He's clearly the lead back. Come on, man. It's so easy. It's a layup. Wasn't a layup. Who do I start between Ramondre, DJ Moore, and Travion? I'm going Ramondre and DJ Moore. Dak or May? I'm going Dak. Yeah, leave BTJ out. Thank you, Aussie. Aussie. Isn't that what they say at fucking Outback? Aussie. I know it's not Aussie like that, like Ozzy Osbourne. It's like Aussie Auzzzie. I get it. It was just me trying to be funny. I know. All right. Murray out. Stick with McBride or bleed blue and pivot to Tyler Warren. Dude, the fact that you have fucking Trey McBride and Tyler Warren, what a gift that must be. Even layups are sometimes missed. That is true. Right? And that's how fantasy is. Fantasy is a lot of missed layups. Oh, Jamar Chase, he's such an easy 101. What bad could possibly happen? How could that possibly go wrong? Right? The offensive line sucks, and now Joe Burrow is dead. Not really. He's not actually dead, obviously, but you get what I mean. Right? Sometimes the easiest things in fantasy aren't so easy. And that's kind of exactly what AC was saying there. But on the Realio, no problem. I can fix your copier. No problem. Yeah, I think you're going to be bleeding blue with Tyler Warren. I like that. You like that? I like that. Really, just because the quarterback situation. I still think McBride's like a must start, even without Jacoby. Most of you guys are playing him, right? Like you're not randomly pivoting to some fucking random tight end, out there just because there's no Kyler Murray. You're just gonna kind of go down with the ship, right? If it doesn't work with Jacoby, just kind of brush it off. It is what it is. Because if you just start some random tight end instead of him, you're gonna feel foolish. If Trey McBride is Trey McBride, he's super good, he's super involved in the offense, and he has a good game, and they're just sitting there like, what the hell is wrong with me? Why do my parents even love me after that? So I'm playing Tyler Warren though for sure. I got Tyler Warren ranked 2. I've got him ranked 4. So again, Trey McBride's still like a must start, but I'm going Tyler Warren, and that's the battle they're playing against each other. The battle of the best tight ends in fantasy, going toe to toe. Mano y mano. All right. Gibbs, Henry, Warren, Swift, and Judkins. Judkins and Gibbs. Thoughts of the Cardinals saying Ben will take the lead over from Carter? My thoughts are the team is going to have Bam Knight be the starter. And if you're not watching, in air quotes, he is the starter. What starter means in the NFL is not necessarily what you might think it means. What you might think it means is he's the starter. He's playing the whole game as the lead back. What it really means is who's going to touch the ball first? Him or Carter? And to me, that's what I'm taking it to mean. I'm not taking it as Bam Knight's going to see 80% of the touches. Michael Carter's going to be sitting in the cut chair, touching himself, watching it happen. I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think that he is going to come out the gate, getting the ball. Maybe he gets the first 3 touches. And then they're going to realize, hey, he's not that good. Give the ball more to Michael Carter. That's what I think is going to happen. Now, acting like Michael Carter is still going to get the same amount of touches that he was going to get previously would be foolish. Okay? So that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that, hey, he's guaranteed to get a gazillion touches still, because I think that would be the wrong thing to say. But I still think if you have Carter and you're planning on playing him, you shouldn't feel bad about that. He should still be the lead back. Not the lead back, but he should still get the most touches. So that's how I kind of feel about that situation. Is Kyler Murray droppable for Purdy? Assuming you don't need a quarterback for the next few weeks, yes. Flex. Start Pollard, Chase Brown, or Juwan Jennings. I am going half PPR. Thank you. Very appreciated. I appreciate you. I'm going Juwan Jennings. 1 out of 6 leagues is standard, and it always is a drag. When I ask a standard question, it's because I'm down bad. No, I get that. I mean, my dad, one of his leagues is standard, but they've been playing in that league since you had to fucking do it on newspapers, probably. So I get it. And I'm not judging anyone based on what kind of league they play in, but most people play half PPR, full PPR. It is by far the easiest questions to break down. There's like not as much of a thought process as you need for standard. Yeah, that's true. Can someone put my comment up there? Yeah, I'm going Gibbs and Judkins. And it's me controlling everything, by the way. It's me clicking all the questions. I'm just going in order. Until there's a super chat, we just go straight down the pipe here. Full PPR, Michael Carter or Pacheco. Michael Carter, no problem. Kamara or Hunt. Kamara. Jags, Cowboys, Commanders, Chargers. Good question. I think it's Jags. Yeah, it's the Jaguars. Duval. Rate my starting lineup. I like your starting lineup. Theo Johnson didn't do that good, and neither did Brees. Things are actually looking tough this week. You're more of like a B- range, but I think you would still win. Henry, Chase Brown, Haskins, or Jalen Warren. What's up, Big BS? How you doing, man? I'm gonna go Jalen Warren. Should I trade Barkley? It all just depends what you can get Barkley like in exchange for Barkley, right? Am I trading Barkley for Chuba Hubbard? No. Am I trading I'm not taking a severe downgrade for Barkley. Like he's going to be fine. So more than likely I'm holding him, right? Unless of course you get someone that's willing to pay for the name, right? There are a lot of leagues like that where, hey, he has the name. That is Saquon Barkley. He is still worth what he was worth at the draft. If you're in a league like that, go right ahead. If you're in a league where they are taking him at the value that he has right now, then no, because you're not going to be able to get someone that realistically you would want for Saquon Barkley. If you want to trade Barkley and you're worried about his output for the rest of the season, you probably want to wait for him to have that good game and then be like, okay, if you want Barkley, come and get him. Right? That's kind of how I would think of things. Appreciate you. No problem. T. Higgins or Matthew Golden? That's tough. That's tough, Emmanuel. Thank you for the super chat. That's tough. I got T. Higgins 36, Golden 37. I think gun to the head. I think I would play Golden because I don't trust either guy. And I just kind of like the upside a little bit more of Golden. But there's also that thought in the back of my head that maybe Joe Flacco, maybe he knows what to do. Maybe Joe Flacco, no. Yeah, that is true. You could maybe catch a Philly fan slipping. You could take big advantage of that. You could win because maybe T. Higgins, that was very good. Right? And look, I'm a T. Higgins truther. I've been a T. Higgins guy since it was him and Tyler Boyd and Jamar Chase. Okay, I've been an OG T. Higgins enjoyer. Been talking him up for years. So I'm as much of a T. Higgins guy as it gets. And I will always be a T. Higgins guy. But ultimately, do we really trust Flacco? No. I think I would just go Matthew Golden just because of the upside. It really is a toss-up. I think I lean Matthew Golden by, again, a millimeter. It is there. Back-to-back, I lean him just ever so slightly. They both have, like, super low floor. They're just high upside plays. So I'll just go with the guy that I think has more upside, more likely to actually, relinquish that upside, more likely to actually get that upside to actually come to fruition. And more than likely, that would be Golden compared to T. Higgins. I think he's more likely to actually have that good game. So thank you for the super chat. My opponent, Dobbins and Janu Smith, so I'm hoping Theo and Brees just cancel out. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Drop Michael Carter for Bam Knight. In my opinion, no. In my opinion, if you have Michael Carter and you're going to be relying on Michael Carter until Trey Benson comes back, I would try to find someone else on your bench to drop for Bam Knight. Because if you have both of them, then you can just watch this game, start Carter, which would be my lean, and see what happens. If Carter really isn't the lead back, if they really say, hey, he's not starting and he's just watching from the sideline the whole game, then you can pivot. Be like, okay, this didn't work. Now I can pivot to Bam Knight. But I still think Carter's the guy. Yo, Nick, Keenan Allen or Devontae Adams for me. In half PPR. Chase Brown, Kamara, Ramondre. I would go with Kamara. Leggett, Golden, or Ridley? Can we skip 1 week? Talk week 7. I got Trevor Lawrence on bye. Josh Jacobs on bye. Josh Jacobs. We don't know how to read today. That very clearly says Josh Allen. Do I pick up Trevor Lawrence or Brock Purdy? Man, that's tough. If Purdy's back, I would want Purdy. But that doesn't feel guaranteed, so I think you should probably just pick up Lawrence. Full PPR is Keenan Allen ahead of Worthy or Diggs now that Quentin Johnson is out. I moved Keenan Allen up to 18. So Diggs is 14, Worthy 17, Allen 18. Based on your question, if you're like, Nick, I want to start Keenan Allen, which is what it seems like, I would play Keenan Allen over Worthy. I think Keenan Allen's much more trustworthy than Worthy. So if that's the answer you wanted, then that's what I'll give you. You have Higgins. Flacco is the mad bomber. I'll go Golden too. Maybe breakout coming this week. I mean, I feel like the breakout has been coming for multiple weeks at this point. I mean, oh my God, fucking Justin Fields sucks dick, dude. What the hell was that? Sorry for my French, but what the heck was he doing? What the heck was even that? Did anyone see that? Maybe he just instantly was pressured. I kind of just looked and I saw there was like 8 dudes around him. I'm gonna watch the replay and then we're gonna talk more because I don't want to, be like a hater if he was pressured instantly. He was kind of pressured instantly. He also kind of did just get face masked and they didn't call it, I think. Seems like his helmet got ripped. I mean, Mason Taylor also kind of tackled him. So you know what? I won't blame Fields too much. That was funny though. This could be his breakout game. I do agree with you on that. Maybe he didn't get his face mask. Again, I'm watching on like a small sliver of my screen. Normally I'm watching on a big TV that I purchased, The game is over. The Broncos have defeated the Jets 13-11. The Jets are 0-6. That's hilarious. That is hilarious. Nick, the Dolphins are 1-5. How they're gonna be like 1-5? How can you laugh? I can laugh if I want, bro. The Jets fans talk the most, bro. The fans are like, oh, the Dolphins are so bad. Dude, we own the Jets, okay? Us and Woody Johnson, we are the owners of the Jets. Feel bad for my dad, though. He's a Jets fan, and they've been just so bad for such a long time. It's pretty sad. Pretty sad. Flacco will probably be a decent start this week. I don't think so. I don't want anything to do with Flacco. Yo, Nick, Charbonnet or Carter? Thank you. Much love. I love you too. Okay, so basically what you're doing is being like, who should I start? Do I want like the problem here really with Charbonnet is there is just no ceiling. And what I mean by that is like the big game for Charbonnet just doesn't seem very in the realm of possibilities. And what I mean by that is the huge game doesn't seem very likely when you already know Kenneth Walker is going to get a lot of the touches and you're just praying to the gods above that he gets in the end zone, right? And if he does not score, you're just sitting there like, why did I do this? But Michael Carter might be, doing diddly squat in this game. I would still lean with Michael Carter just because I think the upside is way higher. And because, again, I still am a believer that Michael Carter is the guy that you want on the Arizona Cardinals. Can we fast forward to the end of the game and he is not 100%? 100%. So, again, take this with a little bit of a grain of salt. I'm not saying that Michael Carter is a must-start player, but when you got Charbonnet versus him, if Charbonnet does not score, he is going to be useless. He is going to be useless because he does not see a crazy amount of looks up the field. They just kind of feed him once they get into the red zone. So, while I am definitely a big fan of, Charbonnet, the player. They just don't use him enough in the correct situations for me to actually truly bang the drum for him. So for me, I'm going with Carter. Bam Knight is starting over Carter. I know, but we've talked about this 8,000 times in the stream. Starting doesn't mean what you think it does in a lot of scenarios, right? What it means is, Kincaid is out, you're saying? Is that new? Did that just happen? Jets gave up 9 sacks and dropped to 0-6. Am I just blind? I don't see Dalton Kincaid is out. Dalton Kincaid. Dalton Kincaid, Roto World. I'm gonna answer your question though, Ryan, in a second. Sorry. Yeah, he's questionable. Juwan Jennings questionable. Limited showings in all practices this week, but did enough to avoid injury designation for week 6. We tentatively expect him to play. Okay. Yeah, the expectation is they play, so I'm starting Kincaid. Yeah, I thought I missed something from him saying that. That's okay though. That's okay. Good morning. What's up, Caitlin? Hope you're doing okay. And sorry, I skipped over Ryan's question. So basically, I just said all of that to come to the conclusion that what I believe is going to happen is Michael Carter is still the lead back on the team. I think when they say starter is what starter means, is that he will get the first crack at it. If Bam Knight is unsuccessful early on, they're going to pivot right back to Michael Carter. When the team is down, Bam Knight's not the kind of guy that's in there catching a zillion passes. Who is, you might ask? Michael Carter. So while I think that Michael Carter is way riskier than just a few hours ago, I am still, in my opinion, playing him. So we are going to go with Carter over Charbonnet. Rico or Jameer, dude, I fucking love Rico Dowdle. I love his matchup. I was a Rico Dowdle guy last year when you could have picked him for free. Could have picked him for free this year too. I still think that Chuba's better than him, but let's be honest, you are going to legitimately feel like such an idiot if you sit Jahmyr Gibbs and Jahmyr Gibbs scores 3 touchdowns. Jahmyr Gibbs in any given game is live to score 3 touchdowns. I'm not saying Jahmyr Gibbs. Burner account, big dog. Do I start Love or Herbert? I appreciate you, Mr. Burner account. Thank you for the super chat. Now. My opinion is that I would play Justin Herbert. I have Justin Herbert 9, Jordan Love 11. My biggest thing here. In my opinion, Jordan Love is 9,000 times safer than Rico Dowdle. Than Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert's offensive line is severely compromised. He doesn't have his best receiver from this season, Quentin Johnson. I'm not saying that Quentin Johnson is the best receiver on the team, but just look at the numbers. Quentin Johnson is the best wide receiver on the Chargers this season so far. So he doesn't have his number 1 receiver. He doesn't have. Am I not speaking close enough to the mic? His number 1 receiver is not there, and his offensive line is severely hurt. So, in my opinion, I would prefer to play Herbert because I think the Dolphins' offensive line, I just think the Dolphins as a whole are so bad that Justin Herbert's going to have his way with the Dolphins. Justin Herbert has also played very well up against the Dolphins every single time that they have played. Obviously, different defense. This matchup he has this year is easier than prior years. So, but I'll tell you, that's all right, Tyron. What I will tell you is I think Love's a little bit safer. He has a way better matchup. And, you don't have the offensive line concerns. So you're playing him. Okay. If you want to be safe, you play Love. I'm playing Herbert just because, again, I really think the Dolphins defense has no answers for what Herbert's going to do. I think even though their offensive line sucks, we can't get any pressure. The Dolphins defense cannot pressure anyone. We pay all this money for Chubb, Zach Seiler, Jalen Phillips, and they just do jack shit. It is so frustrating as a Dolphins fan. I would play gun to the head in my lineup. It's going to be Herbert. How will Keenan Allen be FF-wise now that Quentin Johnston is out? Keenan Allen moved up a little bit for me. I'm still not in the range where it's like you have to play Keenan Allen. Of course, you don't have to play him. He's not a must start, but he is a guy that you probably want in your lineup for most people. I have Keenan Allen ranked very highly because I think he is the wide receiver 1 on the team now. Without Quentin Johnston, I have him ranked as my wide receiver 18. For most of you guys, the wide receiver 18 will make it into your lineup. If he's not in your quote unquote starting lineup, he's in your flex. So, yes, I feel very good about him this week. Deep down, I still do kind of have my concerns that the offensive line could truly screw the pooch and be the reason why he is unsuccessful. But deep down, I would find it very hard to sit Keenan Allen for most of you guys. So, in short order, without Quentin Johnston, Keenan Allen's the wide receiver 1 on the team, and you should expect, at minimum, a top 24 finish with the upside of a top 5 finish. I have him inside of the top 18, which again means for most of you guys, he is in your starting lineup. Gilio Lane, thank you for the super chat. Haskins, Sharbs, Knight, Carter, Gainwell, or Kendre. Very simple breakdown here. Gainwell, I do not trust. I think Gainwell is a great running back, and I think Gainwell has proven to us that he is an excellent handcuff. So if he's on your team, he's on your bench, he's your handcuff, you feel good. He is, in my opinion, not worthy of starting up against a tough defense that they're playing up against the run, and he is not worthy of starting because Jaylen Warren is back, and I think Jaylen Warren is the clear lead back on the team. Charbonnet feels like the kind of guy that you play. You hope he scores. Does it work? Does it not work, Connor? You're going to take the Dolphins. I think this might be the first time I never bet on the Dolphins. Ever since I turned 21, I've bet on the Dolphins every single game. I am up all time on the Dolphins because they were cover gods with Flores. This year I'm down bad, down astronomical. Might have to start selling my feet pictures to pay for it. I'm not touching the Dolphins. But what I really wanted to say here was Kendre Miller's kind of just like a floor play. You get your 8 to 11 points. Do you really want to do that? In my opinion, no, not in your scenario. I'm just looking for upside. I think Carter is the lead back. He's going to see the most amount of touches on the Cardinals. I understand the report is of the contrary, but just because you're not the starter doesn't mean you're not going to see touches. So, in my opinion, I am definitely going to go ahead and lean with Carter. If you want to be a little bit safer, if you're like really worried, then I would just go Haskins because I think he's going to get a decent amount of touches against the Dolphins. My answer would be Carter, though. Keaton, thank you for the super chat. Pickens or Worthy? I feel like Worthy will have to get a lot of volume in a potential shootout, but I don't know. That is a very good question to ask. I understand that Pickens shit the bed last week up against the Jets, and I understand that the Cowboys could just completely blow out the Carolina Panthers, but I think you are basically in a scenario at this point where you just have to start Pickens. Pickens has just looked so good. And even last week, where he has a quote-unquote unsuccessful game, he still has a good enough game to be a top 24 guy because he scores a touchdown. So I'm not turning my back on Pickens. And I like Xavier Worthy this week. But Xavier Worthy's another one of these guys that just does his disappearing act every couple of weeks where he just does absolutely nothing. And this could easily be one of those games where he does absolutely nothing, even though it is realistically set up for him to do quite well. So I would go Pickens. Justin, thank you for the super chat. Half PPR rank Judkins, Pickens, White, and JCM. Thank you, Goat. No problem. In half PPR, I would go Pickens, White, Judkins, JCM. In half PPR, I want to rank JCM higher. We've talked about this a lot throughout the stream. I am a big fan of the running back JCM. I think JCM is very, 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 very talented. But at the end of the day, I have a lot of questions about how many touches he is going to get week in and week out. I have a lot of questions of what this backfield split is going to look like. Could it go back to being what it was prior? So that's why he's ranked the lowest, even though I do think that if you play him, you could be very excited about the upside that he possesses. So for me, it'd be Pickens, White, Judkins. I think Rashad White's basically must start without Bucky. So Pickens, White, Judkins, JCM. Brandon, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you. Super chat is from 1241, so we're going to have to go a little bit quicker now. All together now. Thank you for the super chat. I think you sent your question earlier. I'm trying to find it. Here it is. Hey, man, do I start Travion Henderson, Kenneth Walker, Calvin Ridley, or Hunter Henry at the flex? Great question. For me, I really so badly want to tell you guys you got to start Travion Henderson. I just can't realistically tell you to do that because of how he has performed this season. Even without Antonio Gibson, I think we're kind of still in the pipe dream mode where we're just assuming that something's going to change. It's like the definition of insanity. If you've ever played Far Cry 3, where we're just assuming that everything's going to go his way. We're just assuming that magically it's going to go his way, and then it just doesn't every single week. I would go Calvin Ridley. I think Kenneth Walker realistically should be the best play this week, but he's just not because of the fact that for some reason the team absolutely just refuses to give him goal line touches, even though realistically he's probably a better goal line running back than Charbonnet. They're just kind of trying to limit his touches. So I would go with Ridley and just hope that Ridley kind of just gets his 10 targets that he got last week and, maybe scores a touchdown. So I would go Ridley. Thank you for the super chat, Brandon. Shackle Free, thank you for the super chat. Half PPR. Please rank Week 6 plus rest of the season. I got you. McConkey, Myers, Dobbs, Ridley. Week 6, and then we'll do rest of the season. For Week 6, it would be McConkey, Ridley, Myers, Dobbs. Rest of season, McConkey, Ridley, Myers, Dobbs. It's the same answer both ways. Now, I think the value of Jakobi Myers heavily hinges on this week. And what I mean by that is if Jakobi Myers shits the bed again, with this many poor games in a row, how can we possibly be positive about him going forward? It's also a very hinged game for Romeo Dobbs because Romeo Dobbs is coming off of a 3-touchdown performance. If he can solidify himself as the alpha wide receiver in this offense, then his value will move up heavily as well. Lad McConkey, on the other hand, I don't think this week is really a good measuring stick game for him because there is no Quentin Johnston, right? So once Quentin Johnston returns to the lineup, even if we see, McConkey put up 30 fantasy points, which I think is in the realm of possibilities against the Dolphins defense, that isn't a strong indicator that that's who he is going forward, right? So for me, I would probably rank them this week: McConkey, Ridley, Myers, Dobbs, rest of the season. McConkey, Ridley, Myers, Dobbs. I think we'll learn a lot this week about Ridley, Myers, and Dobbs, but that's how I would rank them. Thoughts on Breece Hall? Is he a buy low or is he cooked? One down game in London, in my opinion, legitimately tells you nothing. The problem is, while I do think he's a fine running back too, I think realistically, you're always going to have like a pit in your stomach when you play him. Why are you going to have a pit in your stomach? Because you'll never trust the Jets offense enough to truly like him, even in good matchups. So honestly, I would just prefer if I didn't have him. That would be kind of my lean. I wouldn't try to buy low unless you're buying like super low. I would just prefer to stay the fuck away from him. That would be my genuine opinion. Stay the hell away from that man. All right. Jaguars or Seahawks? Jaguars. Haskins or Shakir? Make sure you guys are in the Discord. Haskins or Shakir? Shakir. Ridley, Stevenson, Jennings, Ridley. But if you want to be safe, play Jennings. Myers or Dobbs? Myers. But we're kind of on our last wits with Myers. And what I mean by that is if Myers fucks us over again, we're kind of just done with him. We are kind of just done with him. That's kind of my opinion. Is if he shits the bed again, we're done with him. So realistically, the safer bet would be Dobbs. Real quick, I got some Patreon questions. One second, guys. All right, I just answered Jonathan and Gwen on Patreon. If you guys are in here, just making sure that I answer every question. That was like a nice 10-minute buffer before the game starts, so they should see that. They should see that. I'm sweating fucking profusely. By the way, I don't have anything on under this shirt. Otherwise, I would just rip my shirt off right now, like fucking Hulk Hogan. You know, rip that thing off. Because I am a real American. Rest in peace to Hulk Hogan. Ridley, Dobbs, or Jennings. I'm going Ridley. T. Higgins or Shaheed. I'm going Shaheed. Henry or Carter. I would go Henry. Selling Hall on the cheap. I would be fine holding him. Mark or Tongs. Judkins, Bill, Ladd, Etienne. PPR, one running back, one flex. Ooh, that's a good question. I'm going Ladd and I'm going Bill. Oh, Ladd and Etienne. Thank you, Zach, for the super chat. 2 quarterback league. Kyler is out. Who do I start? Flacco, Geno, Gabriel, Brissett. Good question. Good question and tough question. That is a very, very, very tough question. That is kind of one of those where, you know, without Kyler, and again, we talk about this all the time. Kyler is a guy that is not remotely trustworthy at all in a 1 quarterback league. But in a 2 quarterback league, if Kyler's your quarterback too, I mean, you're just feeling incredible, right? Every week you're feeling like, wow, I'm so happy that I have Kyler Murray because, you know, he has that big upside weekly and you kind of just have to play him. Whereas in a 1 quarterback league, you're like, shit, why did I play him? He's like the quarterback 16 every week. But in a 2 quarterback league, you feel pretty good about him. So, in my opinion, Flacco, Geno, Gabriel, Brissett. I got Geno 24. I mean, Geno should bounce back. He's just been so bad. I got Dylan Gabriel 26. Flacco 30. I mean, I'm not touching Flacco. Brissett 28. I would go Geno and Gabriel. That's who I trust the most. I think it'd be funny if Flacco and the Bengals beat the Packers. Like if Flacco beat the Packers twice. But realistically, how many fucking points is he going to score up against the Packers? And Geno does suck, I know, but it's not like anyone that's watched Jacoby Brissett, especially you. You've got the Patriots picture. You know how Jacoby Brissett is. You know exactly how Jacoby Brissett is. Jacoby Brissett is not good. Jacoby Brissett is far from ideal. Now, he's good enough to, you know, get the ball to Marv a couple times, to Trey McBride, dump the ball off, but he's not good enough to be like a fantasy starter. So I'm going Geno and just hoping that he channels his inner Jameis, and instead of throwing the ball to the other team, he's throwing it to their team. And then I would go with Dylan Gabriel. Dylan Gabriel actually looked pretty good last time out. I don't think he's going to be like a reliable quarterback 2 starter for you. And I also am kind of unsure of how long his leash is in Cleveland. Like, how long do they trust him to be the guy? Like, if he, say, stumbles and bumbles over the next couple of games, they're still not necessarily winning. He just looks all right. Did they pull the plug on him for Shedeur, or is kind of Shedeur like it would need an injury for him to play? I don't know. Like, I don't know what the team is thinking, obviously. So, for this game, I'm going Gabriel and I'm going Geno. Why did Knicks and Sutton do me like that? I don't know, dude. He fucked me over too. It's because the game was in London. Again, every time a game is in London, a lot of the time, you end up with a bad product. And then there's people on Twitter that come at me when I say I'm tired of these overseas games. And then they're like, Nick, what do you mean? You're not happy that there's a game in all these countries, Nick? You don't like, are you just like someone that hates other countries except for America? Like, that's literally what people think. They think I'm like some crazy person because I'm tired of waking up at fucking, you know, you guys have to wake up at 6 a.m. on the West Coast to watch football. Like, it's stupid. It's so stupid. I don't get it at all. And the product is terrible. What did Bo Nix and Sutton do? I don't know, dude. I don't know why they did you like that. Carter, Tucker, or Bourne? I would go Bourne. Like and subscribe. Facts. You trust in the Jamar plays? I mean, I think so. Should I flex Bam, JMO? I'm playing JMO. I think Debo's going to play. Myers or Trey Tucker? Myers. Do you think I'd trade away Breece Hall then? I mean, I'm not trading Breece Hall away right now. His value is nothing. Like, the thing is, when you want to trade away a guy like Breece Hall, you have to just wait for him to do something. Right now, his value is legitimately dust. Now, again, you may play in a league with people that are stupid. So, again, this is more of like assuming that you're in a league with people that know what they're doing. Or like halfway know what they're doing. His value is at 0. Now, if you're playing, and I'm not talking about Tyron, I'm talking about anyone in general. if you are in a league with people that are not as smart, it is much easier to pull the wool over their eyes. And because, Brees Hall is kind of a household name, people know who he is. So that's what I mean by that. Like, if you're in a league with people that aren't as smart, you might be able to pull that off. Would you play Hollywood Brown or Bam Knight? Hollywood, Fannin Jr. or hold for Kincaid? Hold for Kincaid. You trust Flacco? I don't trust Flacco at all because I don't trust the offensive line, like you said. I think the offensive line is legitimately dog shit, and they're setting him up for failure. Like, they're setting him up to get executed in front of us on live television. Now, I hope Flacco wins. I'm a Flacco guy. Something about Joe Flacco, man. But let's be realistic. That's a bad spot for him. Puka or Hunter? Yeah, dude, start Travis Hunter instead of Puka. Puka, obviously. Hashkins or Marv? Hashkins or Marv? I would go Marv. Arav, thank you for the super chat. Play Bam, have Pollard and Carter playing Pollard. Look, my opinion on this Bam versus Carter thing is, I'm going to say it again. My genuine opinion is Bam Knight is the starter. But when they say starter, it doesn't mean what you think it is. It means he is going to get the first touch out of the running backs there. So maybe they're looking to get angry, get physical, run a motherfucker over early. So they use him. But I think in reality, the guy with the most touches will be, drum roll please, it will be Carter. Now again, would I bet my life savings on, oh man, Michael Carter's gonna have a huge game? No, I'm not. But I do think that he may be the most trustworthy option. So that's the way that I'm going to lean. I'm going to lean with, I would play Pollard and Carter over Bam. Thank you. I can fix your copier. Should I start Tootin or Thornton? I would play Thornton, assuming that is the Thornton on the Chiefs, not on the Raiders, just because that guy just loves the fucking end zone. So if he scored, like, no one should be remotely shocked. So I would go Thornton over Tootin. 100%. I mean, Tootin, that guy's live to see, like, no touches at all. Bourne or Myers, whether Jennings is in or out. Thank you. I would go Bourne. Choose two. Pickens, Adams, Waddle. No problem. False prophet. Choose two. Pickens, Adams, Waddle, Dobbs, Tet. Pickens and Adams. Chiefs, Thornton. Yeah, go Chiefs, Thornton. You guys got 1 minute. I got Dowdle, White, Pickens over Pollard, Montgomery, and Swift. I like that. Make sure you guys are on the Discord. It is my league settings, or has Brees been decent? Yeah, he has been decent. Yeah, make sure you guys join the Discord. Friggin' Knicks being ass in the first half, and they ran the entire second half. What the fuck? Yeah, no, it's more because the Jets actually didn't get face fucked like we all expected them to early on. So Knicks didn't do anything. Mason Taylor shit the bed. I mean, that was just a disaster. That was a disaster of large proportions. I picked up Mason Taylor and played him in every single league just for him to absolutely screw me. Pollard or Carter? Carter. BTJ or DK? BTJ. McConkey, Diggs, BTJ. I'd go Diggs and McConkey. Lions D or Browns D? Browns. Diggs, Jennings or Dobbs, Diggs. Any other questions? Get them in fast. Get them in furious. No problem, man. No problem. No problem. I'd go with Carter over Pollard. There are cards. This is our team. We bleed red. This is our cards. Whether lose or lose, drink because of them. For the birds, beat ourselves. We're all so goddamn bad. This is our team. Go Cards. Like that song, bro? Good luck to all Sutton. Yeah, dude. Sutton fucked me. Good luck. Yeah, make sure you guys are on Underdog. Use promo code Notorious if you are new on Underdog. If you play $5 in the pick'em, you will get $100 in bonus funds or in bonus entries, promo code Notorious, or by clicking on the link in the video description. If it is available in your state, make sure you get on there. It's a fun time. We beat ourselves. I mean, the Cardinals legitimately did beat themselves. Lions defense or Browns defense? Browns. Bourne or Myers? I would go Bourne. Let's hope the Dolphins win. I hope so. Beautiful. We might win after that. Good luck, Fantasy Fam. Yep, good luck, everyone. Hope you guys do have a good time. Bourne over Myers. I appreciate you guys. Let's do it. Yes, sir. Have a good one. Have a good one. Peace out. Bye.